Welcome to the CompTIA Tech Council podcast. CompTIA will be interviewing leaders of state and regional tech associations around the nation to learn more about the challenges they are facing and the opportunities they present to their membership and to their state. Today we are pleased to be joined by the President and CEO of the Minnesota High Tech Association, Margaret Anderson Kelliher. Margaret, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Tim. It's great to be with you.
And also joining us today is Preston Grisham from CompTIA's communications team in Washington, D.C. Preston is our producer this morning, and good to have you as well, Preston.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, Margaret, well, let's jump right in here. So tell us briefly, what is the mission of the Minnesota High Tech Association?
So we have a mission to drive science and technology states in the country, and we're doing that by really driving science and technology jobs and innovation forward in the state of Minnesota. And we're pleased to really be making some good progress on that in the last few years.
Excellent. Well, going a little deeper, what are the most pressing challenges facing the tech industry in Minnesota to remain competitive and to grow their businesses?
Sure. Well, like a lot of states, I think the number one challenge that we are finding is really around the workforce issue. And so in Minnesota, we have a long and proud history of having a really strong educated workforce. We have great higher educational institutions, great K-12 education here in Minnesota. But as we look out into the future, we can see that we're going to have a shortage of STEM workers, science, technology, engineering, and math workers. And some might say we have that shortage even today in some areas like technology. So our big focus lately has been in 4 pillar areas. That is the STEM workforce, in working in innovation spaces and really helping to build the innovation economy here in Minnesota, entrepreneurship and helping people build the entrepreneurial community in the science and technology community, and then finally, of course, near and dear to our partnership with CompTIA and with TECNA is the work around the public policy space, especially here on the state level.
So tell us, I mean, you got into a little bit some of the initiatives you're doing, but tell us a little bit about what are some of the key programs that you're working on today that the Minnesota High Tech Association is facilitating, either short or long term, either to address STEM or the workforce challenges or any other challenges that are facing the tech industry?
Sure. I'll talk about 2 things. One with the longer term view, and that is our STEM internship program. That's called the SciTech Experience Internship Program. We created and curated this program in partnership with the state of Minnesota a few years back, and this year we'll be placing 200 STEM interns, college-level interns, in paid internships in small and growing STEM companies. They tend to be in 3 main areas: technology, medical device, and high-end manufacturing. So you can see we kind of have a broader scope in this area. These interns can earn up to $5,000 in their internship. The companies get reimbursed for about half of that, or half of that amount, $2,500. We both have created the website portal that helps match the interns, qualifies the interns and the companies are all small companies. So this is really trying to both give the students an entrepreneurial experience, and it also gives the companies, who often don't even have an HR department, as many people would know in a smaller company, the ability to leverage great talent, whether they're students here in Minnesota or they're a Minnesota student who's going to school out of state, to get them here into the state of Minnesota. It also has a long-term play, Tim, because it is about helping those students get experience on their resume and get them connected to a Minnesota company with the hope that they will get hired here and stay here. So that's the long-term play on that. Our more immediate thing that we've been working on is that we joined a coalition of employers and higher ed institutions who are working with called real-time talent, where we are bringing to bear for our companies real-time data about what's happening in the marketplace. We work with our companies to show them where their own job openings are sitting, how long they're sitting open out there, and then also showing them where even their competitors are sitting with job openings both in Minnesota and in the region. The idea there is to bring information to the companies so that they can do a better job attracting talent to the company and kind of create a shorter cycle on attracting good talent in.
That's excellent. That's real exciting stuff, Margaret. Tell us, final question, you touched on policy a little bit. I'm wondering, I know that you're part of this CompTIA Tech Council Alliance. You're also a member of TECNA. How does policy really fit into what you do? I know of your background, which is extensive in policy. How do you use your own experience, really, as the leader of the Minnesota High Tech Association to advance policy on behalf of your members?
Well, we think, and the great news is coming to this organization, I do have a strong policy background, but this organization has a 30-year history in public policy. And it's important because we do think that public policy and a good policy foundation is important to having the right sort of company growth and acceleration in the state of Minnesota. And so we have focused on things like a very strong research and development tax credit that can partner with the federal research and development tax credit. We have also been strong advocates of an angel investor tax credit to help with the startup side of things. Our partnership on this internship program with the Department of Employment and Economic Development and the legislature and governor has been important as well. Overall, the idea of having legislators and the governor and public policy makers in agencies focus on science and technology policy and strategies for knowledge-based economies has been important in Minnesota over the years, and we think it's still important for the future growth of the region and the state.
Excellent. Well, Margaret Anderson Kelliher, President and CEO of the Minnesota High Tech Association, thank you for being with us today during the CompTIA Tech Council podcast.
Great. Thanks so much for having me. It was great to be with you.